Hi, I'm Will from Venture to Rome, and I've got some really exciting things to share with you today. My garage is literally full of awesome rigs and gear, and I'm gonna give you updates on Finnegan, my Jeep Rubicon 392 with Extreme Recon package. I'll tell you about phase 1 mods I've made, and I'll let you know what we've done so far, what's coming in the very, very near future, and I have something brand new to share with you too. Kate and I decided to go all in and buy a brand new 2023 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. And unlike the 392, this was not a slow build, this is a fast build. We've been rocking and rolling on this, and we've only had it for a little over a month, and I've already put in one full BDR and over 1,000 miles of dirt on it. So let's start with the truck. Meet Trip, our brand new 2023 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. This little truck is gonna be really fun to build, and already has been. I got a Pentastar 3.6 engine, automatic transmission. It comes with rear locker, killer stock suspension with Fox remote reservoir shocks, orange accents in and out of the rig, and in our case, a soft top. Now, I really didn't want a soft top. Honestly, I almost didn't buy it because I didn't want it, but we couldn't find what we wanted brand new. We couldn't find a leather interior and a hardtop. We could only get one or the other. And because this is going to be our family car and the family Overlander, leather is a must-have option. So we got it with a soft top. Let me tell you about the soft top. It's actually awesome. They nailed the design on this. It's actually really, really quiet, and it's easy to use. It takes like 30 seconds to open up and close, and I just really loved having it for the first few weeks. We actually kept it on during our trek down to Nevada and BDR, but what we found out was that as good as the soft top is, when you put a rooftop tent on your truck, the tent creates like turbulence on top of your cab, and at highway speeds, the soft top felt like it was gonna take flight. So we decided when we were down in Vegas to buy a used hardtop, put it on for the drive home. Truth is, we probably won't go back to a soft top, but I did like it, honestly. Okay, I'm gonna take you through the mods here in just a second, but first I wanna address the #1 question I've been getting from folks when they notice I have a new Gladiator, and that is, why a Mojave? Okay, so why a Mojave and not a Rubicon? First of all, I'm not a diehard Rubicon guy. My first Jeep was a Sahara, so I know firsthand how awesome non-Rubicon Jeeps are, and Rubicons are not the be-all, end-all option package, people. Really depends on what you're gonna do with your Jeep. Second, I have a Rubicon. Its name is Finnegan, and it has a 6.4 liter Hemi V8 in it. It's the best Rubicon ever made, and in my opinion, the best off-road rig ever made in the history of rigs. Prove me wrong on that one. I'm happy to have a friendly debate. And the 392 build is going to be a classic Rubicon build. I'm gonna put a killer lift in it from Metal Cloak. In fact, it's sitting right over here in the garage, just like waiting to go in. I'm waiting for the shocks from Elka to arrive before driving it up to BC and having Epic Adventure Outfitters get everything installed. As long as we're on the subject of the 392, why don't I walk you through that build so far? So the first modifications I wanna show you are right here on the front of the Jeep. So first I took the stock bumper, the steel bumper, and made it into a stubby because I've never done that before and thought it'd be cool to try it, and I really like it. I think it looks just a little mean and cool. So I did that, and then I got these incredible lights from Baja, these LP6 Pros. I've got a video coming out on it, on the install and on how to design off-road lights. These things are absolutely incredible. They give you like 200 degrees of light, so you almost don't even need ditch lights because they have so much light that they throw on the sides, and then they throw an incredible amount of light down the trail as well. Here's stock. Let me just press the Baja button. Boom. It's unbelievable. Super happy with those. Thank you, Baja Lights. And then the Warn Evo 10 winch. I got that from Warn. They sent that over for this build, which is great because you don't want to have a big old Jeep like this, take it out in crazy places without having recovery like a winch. And Warn's the best. Warn is in the same brand family or ownership as Factor 55, which you know I love. And so, yeah, super happy for that. Speaking of Factor 55, we have their Flat Link E with the rope guard on it. And I went ahead and put their Fairlead instead of the Warn Fairlead. #1, because I love Factor 55, but I really like how they've thought through all of the angles and corners on this. It creates really, really smooth gliding for the synthetic line. So there's a very, very low chance of any burrs or anything occurring or the wearing down of the synthetic rope from the Fairlead, which, as I learned from Justin over at Factor 55, happens. So that is the front section of the Jeep. Let's take a look at some other things. This is a spot where you can see a couple things that I've done. One is this antenna mount that I put here for my GMRS/ham radio that runs through the firewall into my radio, which I'll show you here in a second. The other is the roof rack, tent, and awning. So these are kind of big deals. I've got the Rhino rack, Pioneer platform with the backbone system in it. It's a great rack. I've run it on my other Jeep, and so they make a quality product, and I'm super happy with it. Also, I've got the Roof Nest Falcon Pro running on this, which is a really great tent. It's super comfortable. It's kind of a fancy tent. It feels kind of fancy when you're in there, so that's cool. And then on the side of it is their light wing awning, which they say is the lightest awning on the market. I'm not convinced that's true, actually. I weighed my other awning, and it was lighter than the light wing, so I don't know what they're talking about over there, but or maybe my scale's wrong, I don't know, but it's a really cool awning because it has carbon fiber rafters on it, which saves weight and all that stuff, and it's got this aluminum shell, which just looks really nice and is really cool, so I am happy with that so far. It's got a little bit more testing that needs to happen before I can say it's like a really good awning or not, and that video will be coming up in the future. Okay, and on the inside of the Jeep, I've done a couple things. Not much. My goal is to keep this thing as clutter-free and as like new looking as possible. So I did put the 67 Designs accessory mount rack up here, and I've got something for my cell phone and something for a GoPro, and that's it. I don't want to have a bunch of screens up here. The CarPlay works so good with my map applications that I really don't need like another screen in here for any reason that I can think of. So it's phone, screen, GoPro, that's it. Now we do have a radio in here, and the radio I installed under the seat, and it's an ICOM 5200. It's a wonderful radio, especially if you're a YouTuber, because it allows you to record radio transmissions. And if you've watched any of my videos in the past year, you probably have complained about me overusing that stuff, but it's really fun to have a record of some of those conversations that you had on the radio while you're driving. And it's a really clear, really, really good radio. It has 2 channels, so you can listen to one and monitor another. You can kind of switch back and forth which one you want to transmit on. It's just really, really good. GPS stuff, I don't know. It's got stuff I'll never use on it, but it's a really good radio. Okay, back here, I have the Outback Adventures Trailgater tailgate table. It's the best. It's the best tailgate table. I don't care. I'll fight you on that. Let's go. It's the best table. It's made by Doug in Salt Lake City. I mean, he created this design. He makes them. I feel like he's like the only guy who works there. I feel like he makes everyone himself. I don't know if that's true or not, but I love that company. I love what he's doing, and I love this tailgate table. We had one on our JK. We use it for everything, and the same has been true for this one on the back of the 392. We use it all the time, not just for food stuff. We use it for lots of stuff. Like this, having a flat table back here that can hold 40 pounds is pretty great. Okay, and then down here, I have the Kraken air inflation system, and I love it. It's so sleek, such a great design. And honestly, for a 392, it's really the best option to mount an ARB twin piston air compressor, because there's no room to do it in the engine bay like you can with a JK or a 3.6, a JL or a JT. You literally can't find any room in the engine bay to mount that big compressor. So you need to put it under a seat, you need to put it, you can put it in the back tub, but the back tub overheats. And so their system puts it in a really good place, and it allows you to have all 4 tires airing up at the same time. And what I love about it is that they include the switch actually on the system here. So normally I would include the switch in the switch bank, but it saves a switch for you. And it makes sense because you're over here plugging in your hose, so that's where you should turn on the air compressor. So I really like that. And I also really like that it has a purge button. So as you know, sometimes when you're done airing up, there's all that pressure in the line, and when you take out the hose, it's like explodes in your face. And you can kind of do it. You can kind of tweak it to let it out a little bit at a time. But it's so much nicer to just have a purge button that you press and it lets all the pressure out, and then you have no problem taking off your hoses and not, you know, having one of them fly back in your face or something. So I love the Kraken system. It's made by the folks over at Epic Adventure Outfitters in BC, Canada, our brothers to the north. Love the guys, love the team, love the adventures they do over there, and they're making cool products now. So that's great. I love to show it off and I love to use it. Okay, so next on Finnegan will be the 3.5-inch lift from Metal Cloak with Elka shocks, rolling on 38-inch tires, I think. Might go different, we'll see, but probably 38s. I'll also install some additional lights from Baja Designs, and I'll be putting a drawer system in. I'm not exactly sure which one yet, but I'm leaning very heavily one direction. So Finnegan will be my Rocklander, my big bad Rubicon. Trip here will not be that. The reason we bought Trip was to be the everyday family car, the family Overlander, and most importantly, a desert runner build. So we live in Boise, where we have 10 million acres of desert BLM land right out the front door in one direction, and millions of acres of national forest in the Rocky Mountains in the other direction. And even when we hit the mountains, when we go as a family, I'm blasting down Forest Service roads. I'm not rock crawling obstacles. So a really good example of how Trip will be used is our upcoming Nevada BDR film. So Trip does a little bit of everything on that BDR, but excelled at the desert flats. So the Mojave is the perfect platform for this. Yes, I know I'm most likely gonna strip out the stock suspension and put something aftermarket in there, either from Metal Cloak or someone else to beef it up, but much like the 392, the Mojave is built for speed. So it has hydraulic bump stops in the front suspension. It has different gearing ratios so it can go faster in 4-low. It has a reinforced frame. It has cast iron knuckles and stronger front control arms to handle high-speed steering. It has a stronger motor mount system, stronger shock towers, and it has bolstered seats that wrap around you and keep you in the seat better when you're steering. It has a better steering wheel, and it has a hood scoop. Now, I know the hood scoop is non-functional, but it looks very, very cool, especially when it's next to Finnegan. So, I gotta have that. The one thing on the Mojave that I wish it had is a push-button sway bar disconnect. That is so nice. So I installed the Apex design system that makes disconnecting and reconnecting the sway bar as easy as it could possibly be without a button, but you still gotta get out of the car and turn the knobs. Yep, now it's disconnected.
Well, that was extremely easy.
It also doesn't have a front locker, but honestly, it doesn't bother me too much because 4-low and a rear locker is pretty dang good for everything I'm gonna do in that truck, except for like the extreme cases where maybe I accidentally get into trouble or something, but a rear locker in 4-low is still pretty good in those situations. So let me take you through what we've done to Trip so far. Okay, so the first thing, which is not that big a deal, that I wanna show you is these orange license plate trim things that we got. Love them. They just kind of add to the Mojave styling. So I've got these on the front and on the back. Okay, next you'll see the same antennas I have on the 392. I love these little things and I love them mounted right here. So yeah, almost exact same setup except for the radio I have in there is a Midland MXT 245, I think. It's not the high powered one, it's the lower powered one, but it works fantastic. Behold the RSI Smart Cap. I put this thing together, installed it. I mostly love it. I'm still getting used to it a little bit. Still trying to figure out exactly what best combination to have with this thing. Inside, we haven't done anything to the bed. You know, there's no like storage system inside of this. It's just basically the canopy, and we're gonna take some time to figure out how we wanna arrange the storage stuff. Up on top, you'll see the front runner load bars, and they're great. They handle rooftop tent. We put the Intrepid Geo 2.5 tent on this for the Nevada BDR. So it ran 1,000 miles on dirt, and I don't know how many miles it was on pavement back, another 600 or 700 miles back on the interstate, just fine. Like it, you know, handled all the bumps, handled all of the, I don't know, that weight and flexing that the tent does. And I was a little skeptical about, you know, load bars versus a full ride and rack platform that we have, but it worked great. Okay, then in the back here, we have the mountain hatch tailgate platform thing. I really looked at getting one from Outback Adventures because they have one for the JTs as well, but I don't think theirs is ready yet. So Doug, if you're watching this, as soon as you get one ready, I want one so bad. But Mountain Hatch is also a quality product made in the USA, so I was happy with that. We just put like a really basic bed liner in here, just like a bed mat. We haven't done any kind of lining on the inside of this bed yet. And then there's one more thing we added in the back. Let me show you. So right here, I added power in the back. It didn't come with the 12 volt option in the bed. It was great. It worked great with the refrigerator that we had in here. We had like the drinks refrigerator in this rig and the food refrigerator in the 392 for the Nevada BDR. So far so good on that. And one of the things I love about the interior of this is that it's really similar to the 392. So the seats feel the same. A lot of the steering wheel feels the same. And I'm trying to keep it kind of the same design in terms of what we're gonna do in here. So, you know, I don't have radios out, I don't have screens out. I've got the same 67 design accessory rack with one GoPro, one phone mount, and I'll probably put a CB mount in here somewhere, a microphone mount in here somewhere. And that's kind of it. So it stays clean and not cluttered, so I can focus on driving and filming. And that's my style. That's what I like. So super happy with the inside of this so far. And we've got the hard top on it, which is nice for the wind when we're driving at highway speeds, the tent on top. And that's about it. There's a lot we're gonna do though. So the next thing we're gonna do to trip is throw on 37-inch Nitto Recon grapplers and see how they do on the stock suspension. I'm curious to see how 37s go on there with nothing else and just how it performs. I'll also be putting a bed drawer system in there. I just am not sure which one yet, even though I said earlier I am leaning one direction. So those are my two babies, my big beefy babies, and I love them. I actually feel like beyond blessed to have the opportunity to work with both of these amazing machines and turn them into purpose-built rigs. It's gonna be a ton of fun, and I cannot wait to show you more as we go. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I'd love it if you would. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers, and every subscriber matters. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps me out. So thanks in advance for becoming a new subscriber. Until next time, I'm Will from Venture to Rome. Thanks for watching.